Are you tired of throwing away perfectly good produce just because it doesn't look perfect? What if those rejected fruits and vegetables could be transformed into something extraordinary? Today's guest turned this exact challenge into a multi-million-dollar solution that's revolutionizing the snack industry while fighting global food waste. I'm your host, Brent Peterson, and on this episode of Talk Commerce, we're joined by Betty Liu, the innovative founder and CEO of Confetti Snacks. Betty's company is turning imperfect produce that would normally end up in landfills and turning it into crave-worthy snacks that are now sold over 4,000 stores across 9 countries. From securing major partnerships with Walmart and Disney to creating award-winning flavors that are changing how people think about vegetable snacks, Betty's story is a masterclass in purpose-driven entrepreneurship. Get ready to discover how one entrepreneur's mission to reduce food waste is disrupting the $5 billion global snack industry. Tune in as we explore the future of sustainable snacking and learn how rejection can truly taste like success. Talk Commerce is sponsored by Content Basis and its new blog generator for Shopify. If you have a Shopify store, you need to try this free product. Go to contentbasis.io/Shopify to learn more. That's contentbasis.io/Shopify.
You're listening to Talk Commerce. Subscribe and download at talk-commerce.com.
Welcome to this episode of Talk Commerce. Today I have Betty Liu. She is the CEO and founder of Confetti Snacks. Betty, go ahead, do an introduction for yourself. Tell us your day-to-day role and one of your passions in life.
Yeah, hi Bren. Really excited to be here. We have 2 bees here, and as we all know, bees are the best. So I founded Confetti Snacks about 6 years ago. I'm from Singapore, a really small island city, and I moved to the great, big, amazing United States last summer to San Francisco and really fell in love with the country. There's so much to explore. So I founded Confetti Snacks because I found that a lot of people around the world, they have a lot of junk snacks like potato chips that are not really fueling them well. So I wanted to create the antithesis of a potato chip and really celebrate colors from fruits and veggies and all the incredible colors in nature. So Confetti Snacks was founded. We are now in about 4,000 supermarkets across 9 countries of Europe, UK, Mexico, US, and Singapore. And as a CEO and founder, it's been an uphill battle getting shelf space into the mainstream grocery chains, and I'm having a lot of fun building this with my team.
Yeah, it sounds exciting. And I've been to Singapore. I've been to a conference there, and it's a beautiful city. I know we talked about running a little earlier, and I know the August is the Singapore Marathon, so maybe that would be something that you could shoot for next, would be the Singapore Marathon at some point.
Yeah, absolutely. I haven't done a marathon before, so I run about 5 miles every evening. Entrepreneurship is so intense, and when I run, I go autopilot, and then I have my best creative ideas then. It's like you don't think of anything, and then usually the best solutions and ideas rush in when I'm in that mode of running. So that is really, and really well, Brent, as well, something called runner's high, where you run and then I don't know what kind of hormones get emerged, but then it gives me a high that is very pleasant and is good for health.
Yeah, it's very good. Yeah, and the snacks probably complement it.
Yes.
So before we get into content, and I want to talk about the snacks and how you make them and the journey, you did volunteer to be part of the Free Joke Project. So I'm going to tell you a joke. All you have to do is give me a rating 1 through 5. I have a sort of snack-related joke, so let's try it. It's guaranteed to be not that great, but just a rating of 1 through 5. So here we go. I bought a lamp made from citrus fruit, but refused to use it. I'm trying to avoid the limelight.
Wow. I can hear crickets everywhere.
Yeah,
But
that's
it's a
pretty
good
typical.
attempt.
Thanks.
Yeah, I mean, funny enough, all our bags, there's a Snapple bottle, and below the cap, there's usually a fun fact or riddle. So below every confetti snack, there's actually a joke below about fruits or vegetables. So it's actually quite a fun thing for our consumers to discover.
Oh, good. Tell us one. Tell us one off the bottom of the bag right now.
Yeah. So we have here, why did the farmer throw out the ugly mushrooms? So this is from our Thai green curry bag, which is in all the Netflix offices. They voted this as their favorite snack for Netflix employees. So the answer to that is that, why did the farmer throw away the ugly mushrooms? Because he had no morals.
That's good.
Yeah, morals is a species of mushroom. Yeah,
Yep.
so
That's great. Thank you for that.
yeah.
So tell us a little bit about your entrepreneurial journey to start this and then bring it to America. Tell us how you came up with the idea and how it started.
Yeah, great question. So, all my life I really wanted to create something. That's why I attended business school in Singapore. I really wanted to put something out there that could outlive me. After I pass away from this world, it could carry on for many generations and leave, a strong impact in this world and resolve problems. So the entrepreneurial journey started when I retired when I was 27. I decided to travel around the world for 4 years. I've been to about 56 countries and I was living out of a very small, tiny suitcase, wearing the same clothes every week. In this journey of traveling, I discovered a lot about myself and also different cultures around the world. Singapore is actually a huge food obsessed foodie city. We have a very strong culinary culture from East meets West and so many different nationalities that live in Singapore. So as I traveled to different countries, it was really fun discovering, different beautiful landscapes, different cultures of the world, and trying different foods as well. I noticed a lot of beauty in this planet, but also a lot of suffering and problems and issues, particularly around the fact that nearly one third of edible produce are thrown away every year simply because they are ugly or due to a crop surplus, due to inefficiencies in our supply chain and our agricultural sector. At the same time, there's about 9 million people who starve to death or die from hunger or malnutrition every year simply because of natural disasters, famine, genocide, or political situations or refugee crises. If I could use food as a business for good and resolve both problems facing the world today by upcycling, ugly produce, turning them to something tasty, delicious, and healthy, while taking part of our top line to feeding the hungriest people in the world. I think that it's a Robin Hood approach that is a virtuous cycle. The more we sell, the more millions of consumers we provide this next to. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy to resolve food waste at the same time hunger. So that's how the whole concept materialized.
That's great. And what was your favorite country that you visited?
Nouvelle Caledonian. So, New Caledonia is a really remote island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. The first language is French. They have the tallest lighthouse in the world and the longest lagoon in the world and the most number of black and white sea snakes, striped sea snakes. And, I'm a huge paraglider and scuba diver. So, it was one of the best places in the world that I have dived in. It was like every color of coral and marine life and it's like really heartbreaking beauty that just took my breath away. I just literally forget to breathe because it's just such a beautiful paradise and I love places that are off the beaten path from tourists and it's just really quiet and beautiful and surreal. So I really hope to go back one day.
Yeah, that's great. So tell us, why did you choose fruit, and then give us an idea of how you can produce it in a way that then can be made into like a chip.
Yeah, great question. So we have like a kaleidoscope of different colors inside. So there's like carrots, radishes, mushrooms. We work with a lot of farmers and different supply chain distributors. If anything is B grade product, which means like, if it's too big or too small or a wonky shape, they don't make it to a supermarket. Because in the supermarket, there's a really high demand for perfection. Even apples, they all have to be the same size, the same shape. If you go into any of your local supermarkets, and the B grade products get filtered out simply because the size is wrong. They are too big or too small, or the shape is wonky. So we work with these distributors and supply chain, take it out. They are good to eat still, they are still delicious. Maybe it's just like a aesthetic reason that they are filtered out or rejected. We filter them out, slice them up, dry them, and then we bake them to crunchy perfection before we season them with award-winning flavors inspired by cultures around the world. So we work with really amazing James Beard award-winning chefs, food technologists, research institutes to really come up with flavors that are authentic to different cultures of the world to celebrate diversity while creating a really extraordinary, adventurous culinary journey for the end consumers to enjoy their fruits and vegetables.
I saw that you're in the Michelin Guide. Tell us how that happened and how you got inspired by the chefs and by the food.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel that USA is a country of immigrants. Um, everyone comes from somewhere else at some generation before, and of course I'm first generation in US, and I really want to celebrate that. We might speak many different languages, but then the social glue that brings people together, food is always that common language. And I felt like to reach the heart of the consumer and create emotional resonance, it's really important to find something that everyone can understand. Like, why settle for a potato chip that is so boring and it's always the same barbecue or sour cream and onion flavor? I really want to create something that astonishes the consumer, that brings people together. We take these ugly or imperfect veggies and fruit and upcycle them to snacks. I am a perfectionist. I'm an OCD perfectionist, and I'm the first to admit that. I really care about flavors and taste. Being a super taster, I really want something that is mind blowing. So not only must it taste good, the mouthfeel, the textures, the flavor profile needs to be so intense. So I started gathering people who are OCD like me. And thankfully, there are a lot of chefs who are like that. They don't settle for second best. They want something that is really mind blowing. So, in the taste world, there's a top, middle, and base note in the same way as fragrances or taste. We wanted something that really counterparts the consumer to a higher level of culinary excellence. So I gathered a bunch of food technologists and chefs and sold them the idea to start formulating amazing traditional recipes for us that really stands behind the culture that we derive it from or they are inspired by. So the Michelin editors tasted it and they were really blown away by the flavors. So they created a permanent article about us, talking about sustainability, the upcycling movement, the plant-based movement in creating, a category of snacks, highlighting fruits and vegetables that are colorful, at the same time being very true to the traditional recipes that they are inspired by. So for example, we have Japanese inspired teriyaki, we have green curry inspired by Thailand. We have tandoori from India, and we have summer truffle inspired by. Um, so in this way, we use food as a common language to bring people on different culinary adventures around the world to experience cultures. So I think that it's a lot more than just the taste, but it's more like the message that we have behind it is really to get people excited about eating veggies and fruit, but then creating a novel experience behind it as well.
And for the US, do you have a pizza inspired flavor or something that's very stereotypical in the US that's inspiring a flavor?
Yeah, great question. We actually are, working with creating something that is more of American soul food, like Cajun Creole flavors or maybe a Cajun spice or maybe a jambalaya flavor that we can launch in, Mardi Gras or maybe in the New Orleans Jazz Festival. We wanted something that is even more old-fashioned, and I'm a very old-fashioned kind of person. I think if we can go to the heart of soul food, that would be great. We did consider like a mac and cheese flavor or a pumpkin spice flavor for Halloween or autumn. Yeah, but we are experimenting more, and I think that could be fun. But I think our biggest unique selling proposition right now is that, you know, um, these exotic flavors is something that the typical Americans haven't seen yet. So they are gravitating towards all these novel flavors.
Do you think Americans are more open to trying new flavors than other countries? And I know you mentioned India and Thailand. Well, number one, are you selling your snacks into India?
No, we just have a tandoori inspired flavor from India. Then it's like the best seller in Texas right now. Yeah, but we don't sell in India actually. Our main market is US, Europe, and Singapore. Yeah, and because they are so unique and differentiated, and no other snack brand really has it, so that becomes our differentiator in the US market.
What's been your challenges in brand? You mentioned you're in a lot of big box stores.
Mm.
Has it been a challenge to get into those larger market stores?
Yeah, so Walmart actually didn't test us. They didn't test us in like a handful of stores. They just launched us nationwide in 43 states of US across 1,000 stores. We also launched in Albertsons, Safeway, Heinen's in Indiana and the Midwest, and then also like Festival Foods as well as Lessons in California. So even though we are like a year in the US, but then we got so much massive traction, we found that like the biggest challenge is that velocities are very important as a snack brand. To secure the shelf space is one thing. To have longevity on the shelf requires very good rotation, very good velocities and turns so that we can justify our real estate in the shelves. And also US is a much bigger country than the tiny island of Singapore where I grew up in. Having the logistics and supply chain and freight worked out is something that I had to lay foundations on in my first year in the US. So to overcome those challenges, we do very strong promotions and marketing in stores. So during peak snacking seasons like Halloween, Christmas, summer holidays, we really focus on getting good real estate, end caps, shelf stacks, running BOGO deals like buy one get one free deals, or maybe buy two for 20% so that we can get people to grab multiple bags and increase the basket size of confetti. But the issue is that I think the brand really sells itself because there's really nothing like that in the market. And I think consumers are very curious about it. They are like, wow, this is such a colorful bag. I wonder what it tastes like. So the second moment of truth is when they get home and then they taste it and they go like, wow, I can't imagine that veggies could taste this way or a mushroom could be so crunchy. And then they start telling their friends and family about it, and then it becomes like an organic word of mouth thing, which I think is the most authentic form of marketing. Dennis Quaid is a huge fan of the snacks, and he also featured us in his Emmy Award-winning documentary, The Next Great American Snack. We also had the privilege to supply to VIP events, including the Chan Zuckerberg Initiative and F1 Grand Prix in Las Vegas. So I think all these kind of guerrilla marketing techniques really help to get the word out there.
Yeah. So tell us about I know that you said you have fruits and vegetables, right?
Mm.
What are the fruits that are popular?
I would say the most popular one in Amsterdam and Europe and also US is Mandarin chips. So, we are the first Mandarin chip to launch in US. It's all upcycled and really high in vitamin C. And to get the upcycled accolade is very important for us because food waste is something that we are very passionate in fighting. And then it's so crunchy and delicious, citrusy, and it's a perfect addition for a salad topper or a smoothie or yogurt in the morning. It adds a burst of citrus. At the same time, it adds a lot of texture into your breakfast acai bowl, and it has a lot of naturally occurring vitamin C as well. So it's something that is guilt-free. It's a guilt-free indulgence and pleasure for your taste buds. And parents feel good sending their kids to school with a bag of these or a bag of mushrooms. There are 6 servings of fruits and veggies in every bag. So it makes it very convenient for parents to feed their household with these snacks.
Is it dehydrated or is it dried? Tell us the texture and the fruit and the vegetables. Are they actual chips? Are they like when I think of a dried fruit, I think of something like a raisin or an apricot that has a tiny little bit of moisture in it still. Are these completely dried and out like a potato chip would be?
Yeah, absolutely. So for the veggie chips, we make it like baked. So you can see like carrots, radishes, mushrooms, and then we season them with a Japanese teriyaki flavor. So for this is a bake process. We slice it and bake it at 86 degrees Celsius. So most of the vitamins and minerals inherent in Mother Nature, they are protected and the integrity of the vitamin content is still intact from Mother Nature. Whereas for mandarins, it's a patented drying technology. We remove moisture very quickly at a low temperature. So they are really crunchy and delicious. The whole range is crunchy. but then we season them with kick-ass flavors that astonish the consumers. It makes them come back for more, and it's very addictive. And the whole point is that, 73% of Americans are overweight or obese. So if there's a way for us to seduce them with taste first, taste is always the top of the hierarchy. If we can seduce them by taste and they are like, oh my God, this tastes better than a potato chip, they're going to tell their friends about it and their family about it, and they'll keep coming back the next 1,000 times. And that's like the longevity that I'm talking about, that really makes or break a startup brand like ours.
So from a sales channel standpoint, in the green room, we talked a little bit about the web sales. Are you looking at Amazon as a sales channel? Do you already have Amazon? And where can people buy these other than just in the Walmart?
Yeah, so they can buy them in Amazon. So we deliver to every zip code in US, including Alaska and Hawaii. So yeah, very excited to be on Amazon. I think we sell through quite well on Amazon. We are also on confettisnacks.com. And we are in about 4,000 retailers, mostly independents, Walmart, Albertsons, Safeway. We are going to launch with QFC, Kroger next year. And the most exciting launch, I guess, would be about 66 major airports in US under the WHS Smith Group. So whenever you're flying out for a flight, you would be able to grab one while waiting for your plane. Yeah, and I think, Amazon is a very great platform. We can get it to the consumers within a few days to their doorstep, which makes it very convenient for them to get very delicious vegetables and fruit.
The sales channels and the logistics, in Europe and the US. Tell us a little bit about your experience in getting set up in Europe. I'm assuming you have to have a 3PL in both areas. You're delivering directly from Europe to Europe, and you're delivering from US to US. Was that a complicated process?
Yeah, so great question there. As an impact-driven, sustainable brand, we always want to make sure our entire supply chain is hyper-localized. So we produce in Malaysia for the Asia Pacific market, and then we produce in USA for the US, Caribbean, Mexico, and European markets. So we keep it really hyper-localized to reduce our carbon footprint, and we can also get the goods and inventory to the distribution channels and retailers much faster in a more efficient way. So, so great question there. So I'm Singaporean, and then this company is also funded by the Singapore government. So we do have a 3PL and warehouse in Singapore to manage that part of it. In US, our 3PL is in Philadelphia for East Coast and Los Angeles for the West Coast. Whereas for other countries like Europe, Mexico, UK, we had to work with a distributor. So what we do is we just sell them containers. We have local operators who have, lots of warehouses, lots of truck drivers, and they settle everything turnkey for us. And I prefer it that way. For us to become a billion-dollar unicorn brand, I only have to focus in US. If I win in US, we are good already. So basically, if any other countries, even if we get to like Switzerland or London or Hong Kong, what I'll do is that we sell the containers to them. Then they receive it from their port. They do all the distribution, marketing, make sure the velocities and the marketing plans are executed well in their own countries. And I only work with distributors who have been in the market for many decades, and they have a good track record of blowing up brands in their countries before that gives our team the vote of confidence to appoint them as our distributors.
The sustainability part of it, you have to source fruit and vegetables from the local area. How do you? And I guess you had mentioned it's B-level fruit, or it's not the fruit that would go into the grocery store. Is it easier then to source the fruit and vegetables because it's sort of discarded a lot?
Yeah, exactly. 2.9 trillion pounds of edible produce are thrown away every year. US is one of the largest agricultural producers in the world. Veggies and fruit have a shelf life of 1 week. So like once it's like past that, they get discarded, they end up in a landfill, and as they decompose, they release greenhouse emissions and carbon emissions that contribute to global warming. So, as a net zero or carbon negative company, we are trying to salvage these amazing, delicious fruits and veggies, which are still edible, and they are rejected purely from an aesthetic standpoint or due to a farmer producing too much in excess. They can't really know how much to produce to the supermarkets, so they always produce in excess to meet the demand. Whatever excess are thrown away if they can't sell it in time. So if I manage to take them out and bake them or dry them into snacks with a 12-month shelf life, we are actually extending or elevating food to its best and most optimal use, and while providing consumers with something that's delicious and also good for them. So in that way, that's what the upcycling movement is all about. It's really taking something that would otherwise end up in a landfill and turning it to something useful and delicious through pure creativity and innovation.
Do you have new flavors and snack ideas that you can tell us about now? Is anything fun coming out soon
Yes,
besides the
absolutely.
Cajun?
Yeah. So our biggest partnership this year is with Disney. So Mickey Mouse is something that is the first cartoon character I learned to draw when I was 3 years old. And from a young age, I have a huge emotional connection with Mickey. In fact, our headquarters in Presidio of California in San Francisco um, is right across the museum for Walt Disney. And I've always been very, very inspired. In fact, he's my favorite entrepreneur in the whole world. Walt once said, whatever you can imagine, you can make real. And that quote stuck to me for a very long time, even when I was creating confetti. So we have a huge pleasure of working with Disney and having a line with Mickey Mouse versus confetti bags. So we have them in large family size packs so the whole family can share that. So can we use Mickey as a cultural icon, loved by millions of people around the world to get, lots of kids excited about eating fruits and veggies and exploring culinary adventures around the world. We even have a Hawaiian barbecue flavor for the Mickey range so that, we can also get, tourists, locals excited about eating their colors of the rainbow. So that will be launched in Q1 of next year.
That's great. Is there you had mentioned Mexico. Is it a different palette for the Latin American countries than it is for the U.S. countries?
Yeah, so for Mexico, they actually chose our veggie range. So there wasn't something that was localized to them. I guess in Latin America, they do have an adventurous palette as well. Our core demographic are actually like millennials, Gen Zs, young families. So people in that demographic, they are very curious about, they are very palate curious. They want to try different flavors from around the world. They are college educated, very well traveled, and they are always trying to explore different cuisines. So right now we don't have yet, but if there's market demand for it, we'll definitely develop more South American flavors.
That's great, and you figured out how to do the screen sharing, so that's good for those of you who are just listening on the podcast. Betty is showing us some of the different packaging and end caps, and it's very exciting. We have a few minutes. Tell us a little bit about how it's received by different consumers, and maybe give us one of the exciting points that people are surprised at when they try it for the first time.
Yeah, I would say that, they have a wow effect because at first a lot of kids will be like, they hate vegetables and then their parents have to beg them to eat their veggies. And, once they try it and the kids go like, wow, this tastes better than a potato chip, then it's an easy sell because they start asking their parents to buy more veggies for them. So this has been very exciting. And, in the sense of like, Cajun dishes. There's something called like okra, a okra dish with Cajun spices. And okra is usually slimy, but because we bake it and we dehydrate it, it becomes very crunchy. And I think it astonishes people. And that's the kind of thing that we want to do. Like, I want to astonish you to the point that you go like, wow, I don't think I can go back to a potato chip or a Dorito again. I had no idea that veggies could be so colorful and taste even better. And I think that's the point that we are trying to make. If we can get, millions of consumers thinking about veggies and fruit in a completely different way, and they are gravitating and being seduced into eating veggies simply because it tastes better, I think we have already won half the battle and the mind share of the consumers. And
Yeah, that's good.
obviously, yeah, the more we sell, the more we can do to fight food waste and hunger as well, which is, really the ethos behind the brand.
Betty, we have a few minutes left now, and I
Mm.
give everybody a chance to do a shameless plug about anything they want. I'm assuming you're going to plug Confetti Snacks, but tell us, what would you like to plug today?
Yeah, I would love to plug that. Confetti is all about celebrating colors and, increasing the joy and happiness for our consumers. So, I would encourage you to go into your local Walmart store. We are launching in Albertson Safeway, as well as Heinen's, Lessons in California, and, a ton of independent stores, including Festival Foods. We are also in Amazon and confettisnacks.com. I would love for you guys to check us out and taste it and tell us what your opinion is. We are very open to feedback and we want the best for our consumers. We are a very young, crazy, creative team, and we love sharing creative snack ideas and creating something that could astonish you and make you feel excited about eating your fruits and vegetables. And on top of that, the next time you are boarding your flight, I hope you feel excited about finding it in your local airports. We are also talking to different corporate pantries and food service providers and airlines as well, so that we can make this a truly household brand to get people excited about eating vegetables and fruits.
Yeah, get it into the Delta Sky Club. That would be a fantastic snack to have in the
Yes.
Sky Club.
Yeah, absolutely.
Betty Lou, it's been such an inspiring conversation. Thank you so much for being here. Betty Lou is the CEO and founder of Confetti Snacks. Thank you so much.
Yay. Thanks so much, Brent, for having me.
Great. That went good.
Yay. Awesome.
Things says starting still. I hope we recorded.
Yeah, I hope it's up. I love your shirt, by the way. It's so colorful.
Thank you.
It's so confetti-ish.
Yeah. We live in Hawaii in the wintertime. And I do go to a lot of trade shows, and they keep those conferences. It's so cold so I looked for long sleeve Hawaiian shirts, and anyways.
I'm going to Expo West. We have a booth every year, so if you are there, I'll see you there.
Yeah, I've heard about Expo. I've had a few now food people on my show, and they talk about Expo West. I'll be at eTail West, I think, which is the retail conference in Palm Springs, and then Shop Talk I'll go to as well, which is another conference like that. So
sounds good. And Brent, let's take a picture with the two B's before you go.
Sure.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay, wait, one more with my name. Sorry,
Okay.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Awesome. Yeah, it did work. I can.
All right, perfect.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Once you finish editing and it's live, I will share it with my audience and then get it shared on my social media and so on. How many subscribers do you have?
We get about 2,000 downloads a month.
Wow, that's
3,000.
a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you have been, which episode is this now?
300 and something. Yeah.
Wow,
320 or 30.
Very cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you know any, we're raising a Series A now, so if there's any VCs or strategic brand partners you think could be interesting to us, feel free to let me know. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm in Entrepreneurs Organization. I know there's a great chapter in San Francisco. I'm in EO, Minnesota.
Wow.
But that would be somewhere where you could check out, and it's a peer group. It's not a network. It's not like you don't sell things in it, but it is, you meet a lot of other entrepreneurs, and I know that San Francisco is such a hotbed for everything that you need. So
absolutely. Thanks so much. And how long do you think it will take to get live? Like a couple
it'll
weeks?
be about 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay, sounds good. So once it's done, let me know. I'll share with my group.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Have a great afternoon.
Thanks, Brent. Take care.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Talk Commerce is a production of Content Basis, LLC. For more creative content, go to contentbasis.io.